This tutorial is going to step you through installing Visual Studio Community 2017. I will take you to the visualstudio.com downloads webpage. And just a quick note, it is a free download, but you will be required to log in with a Microsoft account after 30 days. You can use your school Gmail to set up that account. When you graduate, that account will no longer be active. And just to show you right now, I will also take you to, when you're done installing, there are some Microsoft help videos. This website could be helpful with that. It gives you some instructions, and the setting up the IDE video is another one that can help you get started. Here is the visualstudio.com download site. You can see that there are several other versions available, but we want the Visual Studio Community 2017. You will click on Free Download. It will download a file. Generally goes to your Downloads folder or wherever you have it save files. I have mine in a Downloads folder. It's an executable. It is not the actual software. It is a download manager. You will need to double click on it. I actually have another one running, so the window that comes up might not look exactly like yours. You will need to give it instructions to yes, modify on your device if you have some type of a security there. And it will extract those files, and then it will start to run the install application. Mine will probably give me an error message because I have two versions running. You will get a message here that says, do you agree? You should look at these policies every once in a while. They are called a EULA, and the EULA is an end user license agreement. It'll bring you to the page and step you through everything that they are going to be using, doing, and what the software involves, etc. Once you have looked at those agreements, click Continue, and then it will start to set up the installation software. It may take a little bit of time to load. I have already loaded the version that I had installed earlier, and I want to show you that screen because you will probably have to go through this process. So once you actually install the installer once, if you ever come back and need to change some things and run it again, it's going to give you this screen, and it's going to show you the different versions that you have installed, and it will ask you to modify, and that's what I'm going to go into. I also have Enterprise installed, so we're not using that, so we're just looking at the community for right now. I'm going to click Modify, and it's going to pull up a window that contains what they call the different workloads that you can then install. And this is the part that's probably the most important for this particular video, because which workloads you install are going to be those that include Visual C#. It takes a bit of time to set that up, and this type of screen again you will see only after you've already installed it once. Now we get to the screen that you probably are looking at, and it's saying what workloads do you want to use. I would strongly encourage you not to go into individual components or language packs. Those are all set up pretty much automatically for you. Unless you happen to click on Chinese, then you'd want to change it back to English or something. But go to the workloads. I have more installed than what is necessary. We're going to be working with Windows Platform Development, and if you look right here it says C#. That's the one you want. I took and chose all three of these because we're going to be working with Windows environment. You really won't need anything for web and cloud. I was curious, so I went ahead and clicked on some other things, but honestly for your first download I would encourage you probably not to do that because it's going to be a big download. It will take some time. Okay? But you could always come back, like I showed you on the Modify screen, and add things later. Data storage and processing, we will do a little bit with SQL. That might be one that you want or could add right now, but again, we can always add it later. There are some mobile and gaming. Unity, those of you that might be familiar with that, There's some add-ons here. Game development with C++. If you're taking the C++ class second semester, you might want to choose on some of the C++. However, if we go back, this first option will include C#, Visual Basic, JavaScript, or optionally C++. So really these first three up here at the top are the only workloads that you really need to start with. On the right hand side, they have another way to look at it is you could open these up and choose individually. I would not mess with anything over here. You will then go ahead and click Modify, and it will make the changes. Yours will probably say Install because you've never installed before. I've already modified everything I want to do, so I'm not going to go into Modify because it takes quite a bit of time for it to go through that process. Once you get everything downloaded, there were a couple of screens. One of them was this Getting Started with Visual Studio, and I included that link or that URL on the PowerPoint at the beginning of the video if you want to scroll back. But I would encourage you to also watch this video, Getting Started with Visual Studio 2017. It kind of goes through the same process I did, except it doesn't talk about the different workloads specifically. And then there's all kinds of help videos. There's debugging your code is a good one, tips and tricks. Everything here I would recommend. They are produced by Visual Studio. They are done professionally, and when you get stuck, it's a nice place to come and get some additional help. That's it for this tutorial.